A very good morning to everyone. I'm Nivedha, Assistant Professor, Department of Psychology from Patrician College. Today we'll be looking into a topic called memory. First of all, I'll tell you all what is memory, and then we'll be discussing about memory. So memory is a cognitive function where we will be receiving information, storing that information, and then we will be using the information whenever it is necessary. So when you take memory, memory is processed in 3 stages. So there are 3 stages for memory. Stage 1 is encoding, stage 2 is storing, and stage 3 is retrieval. So when you take memory, we receive information from the environment through our senses. So we receive information through our senses, and there are a number of information we receive at one moment. And what our system does is we pay attention to the information which is very important to us, so that we will be processing that information, which is called encoding, where we process the information, we give structure to the information. That encoding process will be over when you structure the information, and then the next process will be storage. In this storage, you will be accumulating that particular information in your brain, and after which is the retrieval stage, where if the information is necessary for you, you will be getting back the information from your storage. Memory takes place in 3 stages: encoding, storing, and retrieval. Now we look into a traditional model for memory, and this model was proposed by Atkinson and Shiffrin, which is a very popular model for memory. So this model goes in various stages. First will be sensory input, the next stage will be sensory memory, the next stage will be short-term memory, and then long-term memory, where you can retrieve the information from the long-term memory. We will be looking into each stage. The sensory input is again the information which we receive from the environment through our senses. That will be sent to our sensory memory. So this sensory memory capacity is very small and very limited. Once an individual receives a lot of information, there will be few information which is very important to the person. So that information will be paid attention to it. So that information which has been given importance and which has been paid attention will be moving on to the short-term memory. Again, this short-term memory is a very limited capacity, and it can retain information only for 30 seconds. So by that time, our system works in a way, and then that information can move on to the long-term memory through a process called rehearsal. So when an individual rehearses the information again and again, the information will be moving on to your long-term memory. The capacity of long-term memory is infinite. You can store how much ever information you want to store in that particular region. So whenever there is a requirement for that particular information, you can get or retrieve the information from your long-term memory, so that you can use that information in your life experiences or in that particular environment. So whatever information you require can be retrieved at any point of time from your long-term memory. And rehearsal is again an important process, where the information from your short-term memory will be moving on to your long-term memory. So rehearsal is a process which means you are going to rehearse the information again and again. One more important thing, repeating information is not rehearsal. Rehearsal is learning and looking at the information in a more structured format, encode the information in a more functional way, where you can retrieve it from your long-term memory. So when the information is not organized properly, when the information is not able to, it is not encoded or structured properly, there is a possibility that the information will be forgotten, or the information will decay from your sensory memory or short-term memory itself. It will not move on to the long-term memory. So if we want to use the memory after a long time, or after in a various situation. It has to be in your long-term memory, and it has to be a very structured, very elaborate way of encoded information. Only that information will be stored successfully, and it can be retrieved successfully whenever possible. And this memory process is very important to understand, because this is how we lead our day-to-day life. Every work or every day-to-day activity which we do implies, or which we do comes from our memory which we store. So this is very important for leading our day-to-day activity. So this is what I want to discuss to you regarding memory. Thank you. Hope you all understand. So next time let's discuss about some other topic.